Welcome to the Empowered with Erika podcast. My name is Erika Vishkalis, and I'm an empowerment coach, mindset mentor, personal development enthusiast, and holistic health advocate. I have spent the last several years healing my mind, body, and soul, and have learned so much along the way. From healing trauma to navigating a sober lifestyle and learning how to step into my personal power, it has been transformational. If you are looking to heal, to be inspired, to uplevel your life, and become the most empowered version of yourself, you've come to the right place. I created this podcast to help you know you are worthy of rewriting your story and to help you navigate your own empowerment journey. You are worthy of living your most authentic, aligned, and inspired life, and I can help you get there. Whether you are diving deep into personal development or just need a weekly pick-me-up, I've got you covered. Thank you so much for pressing play today. I cannot wait to transform together. Let's get empowered. Welcome to another episode of Empowered with Erika. Your host Erika here, and I am so dang excited to dive into today's episode. So today we are talking all about how to not disqualify yourself and how often we let our past mistakes define us or prevent us from really stepping into our most empowered version of ourselves. So where is this coming from? Why am I talking about this today? First, this topic is something that has been on my heart for a while, but I attended an event with Ed Mylett. If you do not know Ed Mylett, you need to look him up. And if you've heard his story, if you haven't heard his story, you need to look it up. His story is amazing. And I was attending an event, and I also had listened to a podcast that he was on, and both things kind of triggered this in me to want to bring it to the podcast today because I think it's a really important topic that is not talked about enough. And so Ed Mylett has an amazing story. He's an entrepreneur, he's a speaker, he's an author, incredible. And in his event, The Power of One More, which is also the title of his new book, which I will very likely be doing a whole separate podcast on, he talked about how his father is an addict. His father was an alcoholic, and how that really affected Ed's life growing up, but how one day he decided to get sober because his mother was like, you're going to lose the family if you don't get sober. And so he ended up doing that, and he was able to be sober for several years. I think it was like 50 plus years. I could be wrong though, but it was super long time, right? And that decision to get sober completely changed his father's life, Ed's life, and obviously all like future generations, right? Like that one decision changed everything. But not only that, when his father was dying, because his father died of cancer, I believe within this past year, he found all these note cards. And these note cards had the names of people and their birthday, but also their sobriety birthday. And it turned out that his father had helped hundreds, if not maybe even thousands of people to get sober and stay sober. And even on the last day of his life, he talked to someone who needed encouragement to stay sober, right? And so his father's decision to stay sober and to be sober and to think of just the power of one more day changed Ed's life. But it didn't just change Ed's life. It also changed so many people who he supported to stay sober, right? So why am I telling you this story? It's important for the context. But his father, then what Ed had brought up was, oh my gosh, someone helped my dad get sober. And if someone hadn't helped my dad get sober, if someone hadn't supported my dad, then who knows where we'd be? We probably wouldn't be here. I probably wouldn't be here today. And he was interesting because what he had said in the podcast that I was like, oh my God, this needs to be shared, is what qualified that man or woman, whomever, to help my father get sober. The fact that they had their own demons, the fact that they had I would assume their own addiction issues, because typically, your sponsor had, if you're in a program like that, if you're in a 12-step program, typically your sponsor has their own sort of dysfunction or addiction or whatever that brought them to that program, correct? He was like, what caused them to be qualified to help my father get sober? And what qualified my father to help so many other people get sober? What qualified them? Think about that. The fact that they had this past, the fact that they had an addiction issue, the fact that they had these demons and potentially these moments of shame. I mean, very likely these moments of shame in their life, these things that were hard that potentially made them not think very high of themselves, that potentially others probably judged them for, right? These hard, difficult things, these hard, difficult moments in their past, these decisions they made that weren't the best. That is what qualified them to help others. And how fucking incredible is that? Because often I think that we as a society think about, oh, I can't do XYZ thing, or I can't help XYZ person because I'm not qualified. How many times do we disqualify ourselves? How many times do we allow ourselves to undermine like what we want to do? How many times do we say that I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, blah, 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 to do the thing? I'm not qualified to do the thing because of maybe a past mistake I made, maybe because I have my own addiction issues, or just because I don't feel worthy. When it's so interesting, because these people that changed so many other people's lives, so his father changed hundreds of other people's lives and supported their journey, which had to have a ripple effect. When you get sober, it has a ripple effect. It doesn't just affect you, it affects those people in your life, right? And what qualified Ed's dad to help so many other people get sober and stay sober? The moments of shame, the moments of frustration, the mistakes he made, the sadness, all those difficult times is what qualified them to be able to help others. And the things that may have brought shame, frustration, sadness, the mistakes they made, is exactly what qualified the person to help change someone else's life. And I know, can you think of a time that maybe was difficult in your life, maybe one that made you feel ashamed or unworthy, or that you made a bad decision, or that you weren't your best self, that has weighed on your heart, but that actually allows you to have a unique perspective, a unique insight, a unique voice to a situation that actually makes you qualified to do something that other people are not able to do? I know I myself have made a lot of mistakes in my life, because who hasn't, right? I'm on my own sobriety journey. I'm on my own mental health journey. I have made a lot of mistakes in my life. But those mistakes in that journey, in that path, I think, and I believe, is what qualifies me to help others work through their own mistakes and work through whatever it is that they're working through. Overcome their trauma, overcome their demons, overcome whatever, because I have been there. I've had childhood trauma. I've had my own addiction issues. I've had my own things. I've had my own moments that have brought shame. I've made mistakes, because who fucking hasn't? No one has a crystal clear past. And if you do, I mean, gold star for you, but sounds kind of boring, to be honest, because we all make mistakes. We all have moments of our lives that we are not proud of, or at least I don't know someone that doesn't have that. And of course, the scale of severity can change. Of course, it can be wildly and vastly different. I'm not saying everyone is trying to get sober. I'm not like, one thing that brings you shame is not going to be the same thing that brings another person shame. Or something that has upset you may not upset the other person, or maybe they haven't gone through that situation. Everyone's past is different. Everyone's story is different. But I really, really, really believe that our traumas and our mistakes and our past is exactly what qualifies us to fulfill our mission or our purpose. Everything in life happens for you, not to you. Go to episode 1. I have a whole episode about that concept, and I will live and die on that hill. Everything happens for you, not to you. My story happened for me, not to me. And my childhood trauma happened for me, not to me. My adult trauma happened for me, not to me. And it is what has helped me help others, because I learned so many fucking lessons along the way. I learned so many lessons. My journey of healing trauma has allowed me to help others through their own healing journey. My sobriety journey is what has qualified me to support others that I know that are on their own sobriety journey. my journey with ACOA, which is adult children of alcoholics and like dysfunction journey, is what allows me to help support others in that program. Because we need people who have been on the difficult side of life. We all need to recognize that life happens for a reason. I really believe that. Maybe not everyone believes that, but I really believe that everything in life happens for a reason. And the hard moments, you can either make yourself a victim and look at it as, oh my God, like I had this, I had that. Or you can use it to fuel your fire. You can use it to help fulfill your purpose. You can use it to just change not only your life, but so many others' lives. If that one individual, man or woman, whoever it was, hadn't had their experience to support Ed Mylett's father, if they hadn't had those moments where I'm sure they felt shame or they maybe didn't feel qualified to do whatever it is they do in life, if they hadn't gotten through that, they would not be qualified to help Ed's father. And who knows if he would have been able to get sober without that individual. Maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. We literally have no clue. But what often we are hard on ourselves for is exactly what qualifies us. What qualifies us to fulfill our purpose and to fulfill our mission. And often those wounds are why we are passionate about what we are passionate about, right? One of my life missions is to help people, men and women, to live their most authentic life, their most aligned life, their most vibrant life, their most empowered life. And why is that? Why is that? Because I have had many moments in my life where I was not living in authenticity, where I was not living in alignment, where I was not living in empowerment, right? I wasn't living a vibrant life. I was living this life that I let people walk all over me. I made some really fucking bad mistakes. I was drinking to not feel my feelings. I wanted to numb out. And all those moments have allowed me in different ways to help other people, right? They've allowed me to be more empathetic towards others. They've allowed me to be more supportive of others. They've given me a different life perspective, and it has fueled my fire. So can you think of a time that was difficult that has actually brought you a lot of gifts? And maybe you don't see it like that right now, because often it is difficult in those it's difficult in those hard times. It's difficult when you look back on past wounds and situations that really hurt you. It's really fucking hard to see the brightness, see the beauty, see the lesson. And I truly believe if we want, we could find a lesson in everything. And some people are handed more difficult cards than others. I'm not trying to disqualify that. I know it. I know that everyone is given a different hand in life, and some people are given more shitty cards. I know that. And it's not fair. I mean, it's not fair, but it's life. Life isn't fucking fair. Okay? And for me, I could have continued to be an alcoholic. I could have not gone to college. I could have used woe is me. This is my story. Excuse me. I apologize. I could have been like, woe is me. Woe is me. That's not what I chose to do. I chose to learn from my situation. I chose to decide to heal that situation instead of blaming other people all the fucking time. I chose to take ownership in my part, and the things that I did to try to heal myself that were not healing myself and actually just hurt myself, those self-sabotaging moments, I had to take ownership of the mistakes I made. And I had to take ownership of what type of life do I want to live? Do I want to allow myself to continue telling myself that I'm like this victim and that here's my story, and because my dad, I haven't seen him since I was 10 years old, so that's why I do this, or this. Or alcoholism runs in my family, so that's why I drink. I'm just going to keep going. No, I said fuck that, right? I said fuck that. And I made the decision to change. And I made the decision to no longer numb my feelings. And I made the decision to work through the mud, work through the hard. And going through that journey is what qualifies me to help other people go through their difficult journeys. It's what qualifies me. And that doesn't mean I'm perfect. But How often is it that you need someone in your life that has gone through something similar to help you get through that situation? One thing I love most about ACOA, it's an amazing program. It helps you for those adult children of alcoholics or dysfunction, family dysfunction. It doesn't just, there's a lot of people in the program that do not have an alcoholic parent. But one thing I love about that program is for the first time in my life, I didn't fucking feel alone. The first time in my life, I did not feel alone. And my sponsors helped me heal so many different things. And I know that I've been able to help others as well, because people have come to me and told me like, hey, what you shared today really impacted me. Or when I have one-on-one conversations, like we are able to talk and share and help each other. And I've had so many people in that program help me. Hearing their story helps me. And that's why I share my story. And I hope that it helps others, because I know that my past does not disqualify me from an amazing future. I know that. And I didn't know that for a long time though. And that's what I want you guys to remember, is to do not disqualify yourself. Do not shame yourself. Everything that happened, it's in the fucking past. You can't change it. So let's just move forward. Learn what you need to learn from it. Become the best version of yourself and try to make a difference. Try to help others. Try to, share what you've learned along the way. And that doesn't mean you need to do it on a huge platform like I am with this podcast. No, you don't need to do that. But just in your everyday life, if you see someone struggling and maybe it's an issue that you've gone through before, help them out. And that doesn't mean you need to go tell them your life story, but like little things, like sometimes just checking in on people is all they need. Right? How many times have you been having a bad day and all you needed was someone that like checked in on you? Check in on your loved ones, people. We all need that. We all need that community. I think that is one thing that made so many people struggle during COVID, is a lot of us lost this sense of community that we had, whether it was through school or work or the gym or like whatever you did outside of work, that a lot of it got stopped and shut down. And I'm not going to talk about like whether that was or wasn't right, like whatever, but that impacted people. That loss of community impacted people. And a lot of people disqualify themselves because they think that this one mistake I made or this one thing I went through, it defines me. No, it fucking doesn't. I'm sorry, but why are we giving these one moments in our life so much power? And I've been there, so I don't say that with judgment. I've done that. For a long time, I saw myself as, oh, I'm just the girl whose father left her. Or I'm just the girl that blacks out most of the time when I drink. Or I'm just the girl that didn't get into this college that I wanted. Or whatever the story is, we all have these stories in our head that we tell ourselves, or I'm the girl that made this mistake, and so I'm going to let it define myself. No. And honestly, especially working at the college level that I do now, like my mistakes allow me to, like the mistakes I made in the past allow me to have a lot more empathy with my athletes, because they'll share with me what they're going through. And maybe I haven't been through the exact thing, but I've noticed like it makes me so much less judgmental, because we all have our own shit. And once you realize that, that doesn't make you a terrible person. Like as a society, we need to be a lot less judgmental of others, because you do not know what people are going through. You do not know why they did the thing they did, and that doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make the mistakes you made like, oh, you're fine, here's a free pass. No, like take ownership of your shit, like I've made a lot of mistakes and I've owned up to them. And I've apologized to those I've needed. I've made amends where I needed, but I also know I'm not that person anymore. I'm not the person I was 6 months ago. I'm not. Which means I'm definitely not the person 2 years ago, which means I'm definitely not the same person I was in college, whether grad or undergrad. Like that ship has sailed. If you knew me 5 years ago, like reintroduce yourself. You don't fucking know me anymore. Sorry, that's just how it is, because I've changed and you have the power to change. And that's why I really don't understand why people can be so stuck on a view they have of someone else or the view they have on themselves. And I know it's really, really hard to get out of your own head. It's really fucking hard. I know that. But we need to remember that we all have a story. We all make decisions that for a reason, like, and whether you consciously do it or subconsciously do it, like, I didn't consciously make all these mistakes knowing like, oh, I did this thing because like I just need to or I want to. Like, no, a lot of it was a pain response or a trigger, and that I didn't even realize was a trigger. I didn't realize I was getting triggered. I didn't realize that, I was covering up my feelings or my emotions. I didn't know that because I hadn't worked through those things. And so I just really, really encourage you to, one, do the work to heal. And you have to feel in order to heal. It's corny, but it's fucking true. You cannot heal something that you do not allow yourself to feel. That's just how it is. Okay? But also realize that this isn't your weakness. This isn't your burden. This isn't your cross to bear. This is your fucking power. This is your strength. This is your strength. My strength is that I struggled with drinking and now I fucking don't. And now I'm able to help others. That is my story. Okay? That's one of my stories, I should say. My strength is that I went through really, really low moments because of trauma, where I did not feel like getting off the fucking floor. But guess what? I got myself off the floor. I got myself to work. I got myself to be hanging out with friends, to go to the gym. I got myself off the fucking floor. And that took a lot of strength. And I did it while sober, which was really hard. Let me tell you, when you're going through something difficult and you have an addiction issue and you just want to not fucking feel, resisting that temptation to go back into old habits and old patterns, it's really hard. So if you know someone that is sober, whether it's from drugs or alcohol or whatever, gambling, I don't even know, whatever it is, and you know they're going through a hard time and they're someone that's in a sobriety journey, check up on them, because it is really hard to not go back to your past, what's the word I'm looking for? To your past things, vices. Sure, let's use the word vices. It's hard to not go back. Okay? And I make the decision every day when I wake up in the morning to try to be better than I was the day before. And I have to remember that my past doesn't make me unworthy. It doesn't make me unlovable. It does not disqualify me from these big dreams. I mean, this may sound like a silly issue, but here's like a silly example that's not that fucking silly. So you can disqualify yourself by saying, hey, you know what? I've never been good with money. I'm not great with money. So because of that, I will probably never be good with money. So I'm always going to have this debt. Or I'm never going to have an abundant bank account. Or I'm never going to be financially free. Fuck that. That's not what we're doing. That's not the vibe. Okay? Just because maybe you've struggled with something in the past. Maybe you struggled at sticking with a budget. That doesn't mean you're going to forever struggle at sticking with a budget. You can find tools to help you get better, to help you, be more intentional. Just because I have struggled with binge drinking in the past doesn't mean that I can't overcome that. And I have overcome that. And I have a whole sobriety episode. I think it's episode 3. Go check it out, where I talk all about like why I got sober, how I got sober, and tips for getting and staying sober. Okay? And we need to stop judging everyone all the fucking time, because often the hard moments that we work through, those low moments in our life, are what qualify us for fucking greatness. I genuinely do not know a super powerful entrepreneur, speaker, author that has changed millions of lives that doesn't have a story that people could look down upon. I don't know one single person, or that people could say would, quote, disqualify them. Well, they obviously didn't think so, because now they're speaking to millions of fucking people and they're making bank and they are changing lives. And why are they making money? Because they are changing so many people's lives. So stop disqualifying yourself. Stop it. You deserve better. You deserve to live your most empowered life. You deserve greatness. And I don't say this as a high up on my tower. I'm not some queen on some throne, okay? Like, I say this because I need this reminder. I should probably listen to this episode once it airs fucking regularly, because I often try to disqualify myself and then I remember who the fuck I am and we're like, okay, just kidding. Nope, that's wrong. We're not going back there. We've been there. We're done with that. but you need to remember that you are worthy and valuable, and your past doesn't define your worthiness. Your past does not define your value. Your past does not qualify you to have an amazing future. What you do today is what qualifies your future. What you do today is what is going to set you up for tomorrow. So just take little baby steps every single fucking day to help better yourself, better your life, no matter what that is. If that's what you want. If you don't want that, then just keep chilling and doing you. But if you want better, if you want more, if you know that you can do more, if you have something on your heart that gives you joy, brings you joy, that fulfills you, fills your cup and fulfills you, take one step every day towards that. Just one. It doesn't need to be a million, just one. You are worthy. And remember, what qualified Ed Mylett's father to help hundreds of other people, which then helped Ed, which then helped thousands, if not millions of other fucking people, probably millions at this point. What qualified that? Those moments of shame, those moments of sadness, and those mistakes he made. Those difficult moments in his life is what qualified him to help others. What has helped Ed help so many other people? The story that he has of him growing up, struggling. His struggles are what qualify him to help other people. My struggles are what qualify me to help other people. Whatever your story is what qualifies you to do the thing that you want to do. Everything happens for you, not to you. We need to get out of that fucking mindset of, oh my God, this happened to me. Yeah, you know what? It did. And that sucks, and I'm sorry. Life isn't fair. Trust me, life is not fair, and I'm sorry. It's hard, and allow yourself to grieve. Allow yourself to grieve what you thought was, what you thought could be. Give yourself those moments to grieve, but then pull yourself up and keep going. All right? You are worthy. So stop fucking disqualifying yourself. You are so inherently worthy just based on who you are. Just because of who you are. And whatever mistakes you may have made, whatever your story is, the good, the bad, the ugly, it does not change that you can have a beautiful fucking future. It doesn't change it. Okay? So remember that. Remember that you have been given this life, and make the most of it, live it, love it, have the best time ever. Make a difference along the way. All right, y'all, I'm going to get off my soapbox now, and remember, I say this because I need this reminder. I have to remind myself every single day that things I've done in the past do not disqualify me from an amazing future. So remember, no matter what your story is, you get to choose what today looks like, which is what is going to set tomorrow and what is going to create your future, okay? Thank you all for tuning in today. Share with friends, subscribe to YouTube if you're not on there yet. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all the things. I'm so grateful you're here. I'm so grateful to be having this Empowered with Erika community. It has been so much fun. It fills my cup, and I love y'all. So I will talk to you guys soon. And with that, let's get empowered. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you and for taking the time to be a part of our community. Don't forget to check the show notes for resources that I shared in today's episode, and of course to connect with me on social. You can find me on Instagram at erika.vishkalis. You can also find me on Facebook at Erika Vishkalis. I always love hearing from you, so leave a comment, leave a review, shoot me a DM, let me know what you loved and what you want to hear more about. And don't forget to tag me if you share the episode with your friends or with your family or on your story. If you want to hear more empowering content, then make sure to hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when our next episode drops. I cannot wait to share more with you. I will see you next week, and don't forget to stay empowered.